Elena woke up early in the morning. It was 7 o'clock. The sun was already shining through her window. She opened her eyes slowly. Her head hurt. It was a strong, painful headache. She sat up in bed and closed her eyes again. Elena didn't like going to the doctor. In fact, she tried not to go at all. She believed that doctors always said the same thing. Drink water. Get more sleep. Take this medicine. And then they asked for a lot of money. It never felt helpful to her, but today the pain was too much. She could not stay home. She needed help. So she picked up her phone and called a clinic nearby. The receptionist gave her an appointment 1 hour later. Elena got dressed slowly. She looked tired. Her head still hurts. Her eyes were heavy. Before going to the clinic, she wanted one thing: coffee. She needed something warm and strong to help her feel awake. She walked to her favorite coffee shop, only a few blocks away. When she arrived, there were just a few people inside. She stood in line. A man stood behind her. He was wearing a dark jacket and looking at his phone. Elena didn't know him. She didn't plan to talk to him, but she felt upset, and she wanted to speak. She sighed and said out loud, "Ugh, I hate going to the doctor." The man didn't say anything. He just looked up for a moment, then looked back at his phone. Elena continued talking, even though he didn't answer. "They always tell you the same thing," she said. "Drink water, rest more, and take some pills. That's it. Then they charge you $100. She gave a small laugh. The man still said nothing. He just listened. "I mean, anyone can say drink water. I could say that too, and I'd do it for free," she added. The man was quiet. Then she said one more thing. "I have to go to the clinic today, but I already know what the doctor will say. Water and sleep again." This time, the man spoke. He said, "Well, maybe today will be different." Elena turned to look at him. "Different? I don't think so." He smiled just a little and said, "You never know." Elena didn't reply. She didn't feel like arguing, but his voice was calm and kind. It made her stop for a second. Maybe he was right. Maybe something would be different today. Still, her head hurt, and she didn't want to think too much. It was her turn to order. She asked for a large caramel coffee. It was her favorite. The barista handed her the cup. Elena didn't say goodbye to the man. She just walked out quickly, holding her coffee and checking the time. Her appointment was soon, and she didn't want to be late. As she walked to the clinic, she thought about the man's words. Maybe today will be different. It stayed in her mind. She didn't believe it, but it was a nice thought. Most of her days felt the same. She got up, drank coffee, worked, came home, and went to bed. Sometimes she had headaches. Sometimes she felt frustrated. And today was one of those days. She arrived at the clinic and walked to the front desk. She gave her name to the receptionist and sat down to wait. The waiting room was quiet. The lights were bright. The air felt cold. She took a sip of her coffee and looked at the clock. She waited 5 minutes, then 10. Finally, a nurse came out and called her name. "Elena?" She stood up and followed the nurse down a hallway. They stopped in front of a door. The nurse opened it and smiled. "The doctor will see you now," she said. Elena walked into the room, and then she stopped. Her eyes grew wide. Her heart began to beat fast. She couldn't believe it. Standing in front of her, wearing a white coat, was the same man from the coffee shop. He wasn't just a stranger, he was her doctor. Elena stood in the room and did not move. She felt like time had stopped. The man from the coffee shop, the quiet man who had listened to her complaints, was now standing in front of her. He was not just a stranger, he was her doctor. For a moment, Elena could not speak. Her face turned red, her hands felt cold. She looked at the floor, then back at him. He looked calm. He smiled gently, as if everything was normal. "Hi, Elena," he said in a friendly voice. "Please have a seat." Elena walked slowly to the chair. Her heart was beating fast. Her head still hurt, but now she was also feeling nervous and embarrassed. She sat down and looked at the doctor. She wanted to say something, maybe an apology, but no words came out. The doctor opened a folder and looked at it. Then he asked, "So, tell me about your headache." Elena cleared her throat. She tried to sound normal. "It started this morning," she said. "I didn't sleep well." He nodded and wrote something on the paper. He asked more questions about the pain. Where did it hurt? When did it start? Was it sharp or dull? Elena answered each question, but her mind was not fully in the room. She kept thinking about the coffee shop. She remembered everything she said, how doctors don't do much, how they always say the same things, and how they charge too much money. She felt so uncomfortable now. She wondered if he had heard it all. She wondered if he was angry, but he didn't look upset. He looked calm, focused, and professional. He didn't speak about the coffee shop. He just did his job. After a few minutes, the doctor stood up and walked to the counter. He took a small piece of paper from a notepad and wrote on it. Then he handed it to Elena. "This is a prescription for your headache," he said. "It should help with the pain. And don't worry, I don't only say drink water." Elena looked up at him, surprised. So he had heard her. He gave her a small smile, not mean or angry, just kind. Then he said with a soft laugh, "But yes, sometimes water does help." Elena laughed too, just a little. It felt good to laugh. She looked at him again and saw that he was not mad. In fact, he seemed to understand. Maybe he knew she was just having a bad morning. Maybe he had seen many people like her, tired, frustrated, and in pain. She felt a little better, still embarrassed, but not scared. She didn't feel judged. Instead, she felt seen. The doctor was not only kind, but also patient. He had listened to her without making her feel bad. She stood up, ready to leave, but just as she walked to the door, he spoke again. "Oh, and one more thing," he said. Elena stopped and turned around. He smiled and asked, "Was your coffee caramel flavor this morning?" Elena froze for a second. Then she smiled. "Yes," she said. "It was." He nodded. "It smelled really good. I might try that next time." She laughed again, this time more freely. He wasn't making fun of her. He was being light and friendly. He was showing her that it was okay. "Have a nice day, Elena," he said. "You too," she replied. She walked out of the room and down the hallway. As she stepped outside the clinic, she took a deep breath. The air was fresh. The sky looked brighter. Elena began to laugh. She laughed at herself, at the situation, and at how strange life can be. She said softly, "Next time, Elena, don't talk so much in public." But deep down, she also felt something else. She felt lucky. Lucky that the doctor was kind. Lucky that he had a good teacher or a good sense of humor. Lucky that he didn't make her feel small. Now, every time she drinks caramel coffee, she will remember this day, not just the mistake, but the lesson. A lesson about respect, about words, and about how surprising and kind people can be. A few days later, Elena was at home. She felt better now. The headache was gone, and so was the stress. But she could not stop thinking about what had happened at the clinic. It had been a strange and funny day. She still laughed when she remembered the doctor's face. She also remembered her own feelings: nervous, embarrassed, surprise. But most of all, she remembered how kind the doctor had been. He had listened. He smiled. He had not judged her. That made a big difference. That morning taught Elena something important. She learned that words are powerful. What we say can hurt, but it can also connect. Even a simple joke can stay in someone's memory. She also learned that sometimes the best lessons come from real-life situations, not from books, but from experience. Elena thought about her English learning, too. She had been studying for years, but still felt shy when speaking. She understood grammar and vocabulary, but speaking was hard. Her voice felt slow. Her mind always searched for the right words. After the clinic visit, she had a new idea. She wanted to practice English in a way that felt more real, just like conversations in daily life. That's when she discovered something called shadowing. Shadowing means listening to someone speak in English and repeating what they say at the same time or right after. It is like being an echo. At first, it felt strange, but soon, it becomes fun. You start to copy not only the words, but also the rhythm, the emotion, and the feeling. It's not just speaking, it's performing, like an actor. Elena found a video online called How to Practice English with Shadowing. The speaker told a story, and Elena listened carefully. Then she played the story again. This time, she paused after each sentence and repeated it out loud. She tried to match the same voice and the same feeling. She didn't worry about mistakes. She just focused on the sound and flow. After 20 minutes, something changed. Her mouth moved faster. Her voice became stronger. The words felt more natural. Elena smiled. For the first time in a while, she felt confident. She started shadowing every day. Sometimes she used short stories. Sometimes she used interviews or conversations from movies. She even tried shadowing with emotional sentences: happy ones, sad ones, angry ones. Each time, she learned something new. She practiced on the bus while walking or when cooking dinner. It became part of her life. Elena also created a small voice journal. After shadowing, she recorded herself telling the story in her own words. She didn't read, she just spoke from memory. Then she listened to her recording. At first, it was hard to hear her own voice. But slowly, she got used to it. She could hear her progress. Her voice sounded clearer. Her speaking was smoother. She realized that learning English is not only about grammar or vocabulary. It's about using the language. It's about confidence, rhythm, and expression. Shadowing helped her become more than a student. It helped her become a speaker. Elena made mistakes, of course. Sometimes she forgot words. Sometimes her accent was strong. But she didn't stop. She remembered what happened at the clinic. She remembered that people can be kind, even when you say the wrong thing. That gave her courage. Now, every time she practices shadowing, she feels stronger. She speaks louder. She smiles more. She knows that her words matter and that she is learning step by step. Elena's story shows us that real learning comes from real moments. We all have embarrassing days. We all say things we wish we didn't. But those moments can help us grow. They make us human, and they help us learn not just a language, but how to connect with people. If you are learning English, remember this. Practice out loud. Use your voice. Feel the words. Shadow stories that make you laugh or think. Speak like someone is listening, because someone might be. And even if you make a mistake, it's okay. What matters is that you keep going, one word at a time. Just like Elena. Elena's story began with a headache. She was tired, frustrated, and didn't want to visit the doctor. At the coffee shop, she spoke her mind. She complained about doctors. She didn't think anyone important was listening. But later, she found out that the man in line behind her was actually her daughter. At first, she felt embarrassed. She wanted to hide. But something beautiful happened. The doctor did not get angry. He smiled. He understood. He was kind and calm. He even made a joke about her coffee. That moment changed how Elena felt. It also changed how she thought about people, about speaking, and about respect. Later, she used this experience to learn more, not only about people, but about her own English. She discovered shadowing and began to practice speaking with emotion and rhythm. She built a new habit. She found confidence. She made mistakes, but she kept going. Now, every time she drinks caramel coffee, she remembers that day. A small moment became a big lesson. What can we learn from Elena's story? First, our words are powerful. We don't always know who is listening, so it's good to speak with kindness, even when we're tired or upset. Second, mistakes are okay. We all say the wrong thing sometimes. What matters is how we learn and grow after those moments. Third, learning a language is not only about grammar. It's about speaking with feeling. Shadowing can help us speak more naturally, just like native speakers. So, if you've listened to this full story, congratulations. You have just improved your English listening and understanding skills. Be proud of yourself. You've taken another step forward on your English journey. Now, a quick question to test your memory. What flavor of coffee did Elena drink that day? A. Chocolate. B. Caramel. Write your answer in the comments below. A or B. Let's see how many of you remember. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to the channel to support us. Your support helps us make more high-quality content to help you learn English in fun, real ways. And if you'd like to support us even more, consider making a small donation. In the beginning, it's hard to keep creating good content for free, but we do it because we care about your learning journey. Thank you for being here. Thank you for learning. And thank you for believing in yourself. We're proud of you. Keep going. You're doing great.